Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, your home for all content Marvel Mystic Mayhem. It has been a minute. I apologize. I was traveling for work. I do want to get this video out though about Alliance War. It's a mode that I'm particularly excited for because I know me and my Alliance members have been sort of hoping that we're going to have something to do where we can focus on something as an Alliance, right? I think this will scratch that itch. I hope it does. But a lot of the information they give us in this info thing here is kind of really hard to parse. So I want to make this video and break down that information a little bit, how we're interpreting some of this information and where things are open to interpretation, and then what our strategy as an alliance is. I'm also going to start by just kind of breaking down the schedule and a little bit of the basics here, because that's going to obviously help understand the rest of the video. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the schedule. Okay, we're already in the first week. They're split up into a research stage, which is what we're in right now. You can't see it because it's beneath my camera, but it's got 3 days and 9 hours left as of recording this. And then a confrontation stage. The research stage is basically your alliance leader or officers are just swapping these buffs around here, okay? Each of these is a dream cyclone. Oh. Things are called different things, and they mean the same thing in Alliance War here. So I think maybe this is like a theme here. Horror Hurricane is the theme for this Alliance War, but they seem to be used a little bit interchangeably here. The Central Horror is the same as the Twisted Giant armor here, and I may use those interchangeably. And then the Dream Cyclones here are these little buttons down here. And this is just a small note. You can't face all four. Like, one of these is always going to be absorbed by the Central Horror and always be used by the Central Horror. So I'll discuss what our strategy is and why we're ordering them this way later on in the video here. But on Thursday at reset, we'll be a week into this event, and so the research stage will end and the confrontation stage will start. The confrontation stage also has phases. So Thursday reset phase 1 starts. That lasts for 3 days. And so I think this is how it's going to work. It's going to be Thursday reset, we go to confrontation stage, till Sunday reset will be phase 1. It should be 3 days and then 4 days. And then Sunday reset to Thursday reset will be phase 2. And then Thursday reset to Sunday reset again will be phase 3. And then the final phase, phase 4, will be that Sunday reset to the following Thursday reset. That will take us to 2 weeks of confrontation stage, phase, 3 weeks of this event of Alliance War. I'm blanking for a second there. All these names mean the same thing. So then that will take us all the way there. So each phase in the confrontation stage appears to like reset your ability to attack both the Dream Cyclones and I believe the Central Horror. So I think it's down here. Yeah. So the first thing is during the confrontation stage, each member can challenge the Central Horror 1 time per phase, right? So you get 1 time to attack the Central Horror, and then I think down here, yeah, at the start of each confrontation stage phase, all member sanity points are reset to 3, and hero level challenge statuses are refreshed. So this is a little bit of one of those things that's up to interpretation here. What I think this refers to is that you were able to challenge the Dream Cyclone 3 times and the Central Horror once. Okay? But before we get further into that, let's talk a little bit about why you even want to be doing this. The goal of this whole event is to take down the Central Hurricane, right? You can do that before you even get through all of the Dream Cyclones. So you want to be doing it, and you want to be doing it fast. So you get rewards for taking down the Dream Cyclones, yes, but you also get rewards for taking down the Central Horror. And you get rewards for being the fastest in taking down the Central Horror. And that is compared to the other alliances in the game. So the top 100 alliances, let me see here. Top 100 alliances that take it down the fastest are going to get additional rewards. And this is pretty good, actually. You know, if you're in the top 10, 600 gems is like pretty decent. And these three of the Dream Cores that upgrade your skills to level 7, also very, very important there. So if you have not started to organize your alliance and you want to be competitive in this event, I think now is probably the time to get started. Make sure that you have everybody in place, organized, either that's through Discord or everybody's in-game doing that. make sure that you've kind of started that process now, because there is a 24-hour cooldown timer between people leaving an alliance and joining another one. So you want to make sure that everybody's in there, okay? All right, so for the research stage, the way that my alliance is ordering the buffs here is first is Titanic Wreck. Second, which you can't see, so I'll click on it for you, is Husk of Guilt. Third is Impact Blow here. And the fourth one, the one that we can't take down no matter what, is going to be Groundquake. So let me explain a little bit about why we're choosing this ordering. So when you take out the Dream Cyclone, they no longer get this enhanced portion of the skill. So I assume basically how this works is that the Central Horror is going to use these skills. And if you haven't taken that part of the Dream Cyclone, then they get this additional bonus effect. That seems pretty simple enough, right? Once you take down the Dream Cyclone, this is no longer the case. The reason that we're starting with Titanic Wreck is because 20% additional damage taken is a lot, especially if it starts to stack. So we want to make sure that our teams that we are sending in, which we have a limited amount of, are able to survive longer into the fight, right? We don't know how often any of these skills are going to be activated. So that is one sort of unknown, except for Husk of Guilt, which apparently there's 2 phases to the Central Horror. And when entering that second phase, guess there could be more, cast a Nightmare Aura, reducing all the characters' healing received by 50%. So the reason we want to also do this one first here, the Titanic Wreck, is because if you move into the second stage, you're now going to have 50% reduced healing. And this is not something you can get rid of, right? Because it's not the green text. So you want to be able to make sure that your team is not taking additional damage as a result. That adds to the survivability portion. But we want to also get rid of this Husk of Guilt enhanced effect as a second choice, because it makes them immune to all abnormal statuses during this phase. And I don't know if there are going to be 2 phases or more, but one of the sort of ways people do well in Nightfall is that they debuff the boss. So if you're using Invisible Woman, let's say, to debuff the boss to take more ultimate damage, you're using Doctor Strange to debuff the boss, you're using maybe a follow-up attack team that uses Spider-Man and Webbed and all that sort of stuff. You want to be able to land debuffs on the boss. We think that that's going to be pretty critical for taking the boss down in a timely manner. This is all open for interpretation. We'll find out on Thursday if any of this is right, and I will make a follow-up video as well. Our third one here is a knockback. Targets are additionally stunned for 6 seconds. So initially, I read that and I was like, this has got to be the first one. 6-second stun, that's taking your characters out of the fight for too long. That's not going to be good. But I read it again, basically, and my alliance mates helped me realize that, this is only going to be happening to characters that don't have a shield. So you can build around this, especially if you're going to send in a certain teams for this Cyclone specifically, right? So if they're not going to get knocked back, that they don't experience this stun anyway. We also don't know the range of Impact Blow. Is this something that's happening right in front of the boss? Are the ranged characters going to be okay there? We just don't know. But it's 6 seconds, and it's unlike Nightfall, right? You're just trying to do it sort of on a bigger clock. You can spend all of your time in that stage in the stage fighting the Central Horror or this Dream Cyclone, as long as you get it done, right? And you are doing your battles in sort of a timely manner. It's not like, can I get Nightfall done in 15 seconds sort of thing, right? If that makes sense. So I thought, okay, this is probably okay. 6 seconds is pretty annoying though. So we do want to take care of this eventually, which means the one that we have locked here is this one, which reduces attack speed of all damaged enemies by 50% for 10 seconds. Again, it says nearby enemies. We don't know how far the range is, but to me, this seems really annoying for a few different characters and teams, mostly Thor. Not going to be a fan of this, obviously. And probably, again, those follow-up attack teams. So if you're doing something with like Spider-Man and Echo or Psylocke or, those characters, they might not like this too much. But it's probably okay. So we thought, okay, that's one we can deal with. 10 seconds is fine to get that sort of reduced attack speed. You rely on skills in that period to maybe make up the extra damage there. Okay, so that's sort of our Alliance's take on why we're setting our order here. We don't know if that's right. I'm just sort of explaining to you what our thinking is, and we'll find out on Thursday. But once we move into the confrontation stage here, I want to explain what I think is going to be happening. Right, so 1 challenge for the central horror, and then here's this. At the start of each confrontation stage, all member sanity points are reset to 3, and heroes' level challenge statuses are refreshed. They also talk about how there's a difference between levels are divided into normal. I'll read it. Yeah, there you go. Levels are divided into normal and nightmare modes. Each hero can only participate once, 1 nightmare level per phase, with normal, while normal mode has no restrictions. So the way I think this works is that there's 3 levels for the Dream Cyclone, and you can do each level in normal or nightmare. And it might be that if you want to do the next level in nightmare, you have to do the first one in nightmare, right? So nightmare 1 unlocks nightmare 2, unlocks nightmare 3. But at the start, I hope at least that you have access to, it would make sense to me, you have access to normal 1 and nightmare 1. If there's 2 situations. If you're trying to do everything on nightmare, then you might need 4 full teams, right? 3 teams to do the Dream Cyclone, and then 1 team for Central Horror if you can't reuse your team there. You can use an Alliance member for support, so you could, I guess, whittle it back down to 3 if you've got enough people putting their, attacking and doing their characters and whatnot. That's a lot of characters. And my guess is that normal takes down like a chunk of each Dream Cyclone's health or the Central Horror's health, right? So you complete a battle and it takes down some chunk percentage of this health. Normal is less than nightmare. That'll be for the Central Horror, but also my guess is that for the Dream Cyclone as well, which has its 3 levels, each level afterwards, so level 3 takes more health from the Dream Cyclone than level 1, and that the nightmare version is going to take more health than the normal version. And so it's kind of a matter of where your alliance is at, and our strategy is going to probably revolve around, as soon as the confrontation stage happens and we open up phase 1, we are going to make sure that we get everybody to attack the Dream Cyclone here, which will be Titanic Wreck, as soon as they can. And we want people to do all 3 attacks, right? Because it seems like when you have to unlock the next level. So if level 3 takes more damage from the Dream Cyclone than level 1, then you don't want is people to do level 1 here, come back 8 hours later after this Dream Cyclone is taken out, and do level 1 here, because that's just not efficient, right? So you want people to do level 1, level 2, level 3 on 1 Dream Cyclone. And if you're getting close to killing a Dream Cyclone, maybe have people hold off and seeing if anybody has to finish up their battles to finish that off, and then they can start on the next Dream Cyclone, right? So it's not, what it is not is 1 Dream Cyclone per phase. If you have members take out the first Dream Cyclone during the first phase, then they will then the rest of your members will move on to the second Dream Cyclone during that first phase. We're going to have nobody attack the Central Horror until everybody is finished with their Dream Cyclone attack. So everybody will do their 3 Dream Cyclone attacks. We'll hopefully get a few of these out of the way, I hope, or at least 1. We'll see. I don't really know how hard this is. Superflow Challenge, it was not that difficult, but maybe that'll change. And then, only then, once we've kind of weakened it as much as we can and gotten these skills out of the way, will people be allowed to do their Central Horror attacks. But it's going to be hard because it's also a race against time. So if you have people who, they can't get to it that first few days because they're just busy with work or life or whatever, which is totally understandable, then you may have no life alliances like just take this thing out in a matter of hours. I hope that's not the case, because that would be pretty not fun additional alliance content, especially for people on the higher end of the game, but we'll see. I'm pretty excited about this. I think this is how we're going to interpret it, and I'll make a second video updating any of the strategy or any of the things that we talked about during this particular video that were wrong in that second video just to sort of correct things and how you should maybe move things moving forward. But I hope that these Dream Cyclone fights are also just not the same as the Central Horror fight. Well, I'm kind of going back and forth on it because maybe it's good practice to go into this one. But what I would like is if each Dream Cyclone fight sort of had its own little unique take or flavor. And it's maybe similar to the Central one, but it's got something a little bit different on it, just to mix things up. And so that there's maybe a little bit of strategy that goes into each Dream Cyclone before you go into the Central Horror. Okay, I think that's basically everything I want to talk about for this video. Let me know if you think I missed something. And I'm going to make a bunch more videos now that I'm back from traveling, including maybe like I'm working on a Storm and a Thor character guide. I already recorded a video for Thing. I just have to release it, and a bunch of other videos. We're gonna talk about Loki as well. On paper, he looks really good, but in practice, I don't know. We'll see. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.